Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction to Death Note. It is episode 10 and you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace the parentheses dot parts with real dots and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode. So, see you soon. To those that came back, welcome back. Now, okay, so the episode is called Doubt, and in the beginning, I thought like, seriously, is Kira gonna have doubts? I mean, he has a soul, maybe he has something like doubts. Although it seemed very unlikely. I mean, from the way he developed, he is already far too gone on the path of darkness and being evil and being completely crazy. But no, it was about L having doubts. If Light is Kira. Which he is, as we know. So Kira kind of had the luck, you could say, strangely enough, that there was a situation with his father that made sure that for a moment there was the human side to be seen, and that made him more human again and let L see, well, something else than just a possible Kira, but instead he could see a father-son relation. So yeah, as I say, there was a lot of luck here for Light in this case, which is weird. So, but let's talk about the beginning. So in the beginning we have a big tennis match between a self-proclaimed former British tennis champion, something like that, a British junior champion, and L being the tennis champion of for 2 years, as far as I got it, of the colleges. So both of them extremely high class. L states that he lived 5 years in Britain, but don't worry, there's no option to track it. So that's a bit weird. I mean, he was possibly able to scrub like everything, but someone who has been British junior champion, there should be, I don't know, anything, right? Something at all should be there. Even if you scrubbed away everything online and every recording, there are people who remember you. The ones that played against you, as example, or the ones who were on your team. Because you're not a solo player, you have a trainer, you have people caring for you, you have people training with you. So, that's a dangerous game that L is playing, because I think there is more to be found out. It's just the fact that Kira is not really able to gather this information personally, because if he would leave by airplane, as example, and go to Britain, L would know it, right? And that's like that's the proof he needs. If he would try to get others in Britain to investigate and inform him via mail or telephone or whatever, there's a good chance that L would know that as well. So that is, I think, the main thing why L can do it, because Kira, as far as L knows, is not someone with a lot of influence and a lot of power and wealth. He's just someone who can kill people like he wants, but he has no network working for him. And that's the big benefit that L has. He has people working for him, and he's able to gather information everywhere he wants to. And Kira more neither has only himself, right? He has a bit of help from Ryuk, but not really much. So I think that's a major difference here. Where I can see in this episode why it is okay that it seems, at least, like Kira in direct battles sometimes has the upper hand. Because he needs to be better, at least a little bit. Otherwise, the pure power of L, the influence he has, the abilities to gather additional informations and resources would give him the upper hand. The person who moves first wins. If I want to win, I have to attack. There are a lot of those statements in the beginning of the episode, so it's a lot of mind games. I like the fact that they had an incredibly high-class tennis match, And while doing so, we're already reflecting and thinking about what is the other one trying, how will I react, what will that mean, should I react differently, but if I react differently, wouldn't that prove it as well? So they're going in their minds step by step through, trying to think about what the opposite would do. And all of that while playing this high-class game, which is bodily exhausting. So, man, those two are just abnormal. Can't say it otherwise. Then the statement from L, I think you're Kira, and that's why I'm here. Just like the last time, he said, I'm L, and he took the wind out of the sails of Light. So he did it this time again, because by stating that, I think you are Kira, there's a small chance, not a big one, but I think it might be true. He pitched once again the ball into the corner of Kira, and he has to do something, because he now kind of feels the pressure of having to prove that he is not, which is partially impossible to prove. I mean, even if he would not be, right? How do you prove you are not something, someone, right? You can only do it by showing the real one. So if he wouldn't be, would put up a second investigation, right? He would work for himself against Kira. But thus he is Kira. It's more neither impossible to prove. You can create fakes. You can create wrong evidence and stuff like that. But by doing stuff like that, there's always a risk, and I think it's a high risk, that L will see through it, that those will fail. And once you put a wrong information out, once you put such a fake out, and it is realized, the other one knows that this was created to lure him away. And this is the one proof. So that is a tough thing L did there. It's really, really clever. And by doing so, additionally, he made, because I think so, that's why I will question you stuff now. Are you okay with that? What do you answer? If you say no, he gets more suspicious. If you say yes, he can answer your questions and try to find out, to poke, right? So both answers are bad for you. As I said, there was an excellent move, a very clever move, because everything L does, he can just go to Kira now and say, hey, I just realized something about Kira, and I just want to ask you something to get out, to check if it may be you, right? So he has taken over the power in this episode in the beginning, because he had the lead now. He was the one attacking. He was the one making the first move, as it was in the tennis game. And like in the tennis game, in the end, Kira did a counter-attack. In the tennis game, he won by doing so. In this episode, his counter-attack is this messages sent to the TV production team there, and stating to broadcast them. I mean, he did not really have to threat. They want to have people watching them, so they will broadcast it. And by doing so, he has taken over the attacking again, possibly. We will see if it will end the same way with the win for Kira. Not sure there. We had the little play, the little trick with the 3 or 4 cards, those photos. One of them was fake. So, yeah, I think it was more mind game there. I do not agree with L that it was kind of a proof that Light is Kira. Because even if I would have gotten the cards and I would have read them, I'm not sure if I would have realized the backside, right? So, sure, Light is good enough to realize that. And he even stated that out. Possibly he should have done it the other way around. I'm not sure. So like saying first, so this is the number in which they were taken, but it makes no sense. But if you mix them up, they would make a sense. And L said, you never thought about that there might be a 4th one. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's too high class thinking. Because if you give me 3 cards, I work with 3 cards, right? So I do not agree with L there. That was kind of a proof against light. But yeah, well, maybe I'm not clever enough for that. And then we have the whole scene with the father. So that's a big one. So there was a heart attack, and yes, sure. If there's something called about a heart attack, first thing is, what the heck? Killed by Kira, right? I mean, as harsh as it may sound, in someone in the beginning of this series, Light stated that he will always guard his family, he will watch out for them, that he will not let anyone do something against them. But then he changed quite a lot since the beginning of the series, or maybe he just opened up more about him being the way that he is. I do not completely trust that statement. I do think that he might be someone who's willing to sacrifice members of his family just to get out of a misery. So, it would have been a possibility that he would have done that. Seriously. I think he did not do it this time. Because he can only kill, right? He cannot do like, he has a heart attack but survives. You will have to specify kill at least sometime later. However, this whole situation with his father gave him, as I stated in the beginning, the option to show something else. So there is this, I like my family, I kind of love my family, maybe in a weird way, I'm not sure. But especially there is a strong bond between father and son, which is mainly from the father. Because if you see Light in this situation, he is thinking what he should do, and he's thinking, I should be affectionate towards my father now. If you're thinking so cool about this moment and your father is lying in bed there, right? Then there is no true and real love and emotion towards this. So he is cool calculating even in this situation. But the father, however, sees a lot in his son. He has hopes in his son. He put this trust that his son will take over his work at the police and stuff like that, right? And I think that painted over to L quite a bit, because he was in the room in this situation and realized that there is some real emotion. And I think he misinterpreted that this emotion came only from one, or he was not able to see through the fact that it was only from one person. The line from Light was cheesy, yes, no question there. But I guess it's because he did lines like this in the past, and he promised his father stuff like that. But then that is all constructed to make sure that his father never believes that Light would be Kira. So, it's a sad scene, kind of, because you can see that Light is fooling his father and L at the same time. And, yeah, I don't think that's something that is good. And what was spoken in this scene, that's why I chose this, about not gaining happiness from killing. Whoever has this ability now is an unlucky person. And even later on, when Ryuk mentioned that a Shinigami bound to a human being always means this human being is unlucky. Yes, that's fitting. Light states he will prove it's not like that, so he will be lucky. But then there's the question, what does it mean by being unlucky? Because what I can kind of see is that he's destroying the world around him. Maybe or maybe not in the end. I mean, we have two sides this can go. Let's say one side, he will be, however, king of the world, feared by all, creating a new world. And we already discussed that such a world will not be a good one. And he will be possibly either hated by everyone, so you're not lucky, or you will have like a mindless zombie army of followers. People that are not able to reflect or not willing to reflect and to think about stuff, that just follow the way that you lead. And does that really make you happy if you have no one that is on your level to discuss and to emphasize with and to reflect on stuff, right? If everyone is mentally and everything way below you, you are alone in this world. And that is definitely not luck either. On the other side of the story, he gets beaten in the end by Elle or whomever. What will be then? It's not about that death or being beaten means unluck. Doesn't have to. But it's very, very, very likely that he will have killed off a lot of people that may have been interesting for him and may even kill people close to him. Or that he will have lost people close to him. Or, and that's pretty sure in the end, when it is found out who he is, his family will turn away. Clearly, I mean, for what he did. So he will be unlucky in this regard. So I see no option for Light to be any kind of lucky in the future. But in his state of mind that he is, he will possibly not realize it. And that's the thing, right? It is the question about this person being unlucky. Is it out of the person's view or out of the view of kind of everyone else around him? That's it from me this time. It was a good episode once again. And I will see you until the next time then. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.